Welcome back to Afternoon Express on this warm-up Friday. I think it's a fake Friday because we're having so much fun in studio along with you at home. Now, LG recently released their new G8s ThinQ smartphone, a well-equipped, extremely capable flagship with innovative features. It has speedy performance, a bright 6.1-inch display, good battery life, which I need, and retains the headphone jack and SD card slot. And today we're joined by tech journalist Lindsay Shooters to unpack.
Hi guys, it's Lindsay, and let's talk a little bit about smartphone buying advice. I believe the Samsung Galaxy S10 is the most well-rounded smartphone you can buy right now if you're shopping for a flagship phone. Why? It's a beautiful, alluring design. It's got a big, beautiful screen, one of the best in the game. It's got all the features you could ever want for right now in an Android phone. So it's got the Bluetooth, it's got the Wi-Fi 6, it's got alles. It's got a headphone jack, stereo speakers, the works. And it has a well-considered ecosystem that it seamlessly fits into. So I'm talking about Galaxy Buds. I'm talking about Samsung DeX, my personal favorite thing. I use it all the time. That's why I'm so attached to this phone. I'm also talking about Samsung Pay. And those two things, Samsung DeX and Samsung Pay, is what keeps me going here. Huawei does a similar little trick. So Huawei Share, which is a proprietary content sharing service between Huawei devices, now also extended to the MateBook X laptop. That kind of locks you into that ecosystem. There's also cases for Africa when you're in Africa on that phone. And like all of their devices rely on this brand recognition, and Samsung and Huawei both spend ludicrous amounts of money on their marketing to make you see only a brand and not specific phones when you're buying further down the chain of devices. And they have extensive chains of devices. Apple is almost the exact opposite of that, where they sell a very narrow band, increasingly long though, of iPhones, and they sell it at a very high premium, so it's only an exclusive group that gets access to it if you can afford it. And then all of the devices, when you expand into the full Apple ecosystem, just work seamlessly, and it's so super productive, and you never get out of that walled garden. Samsung has come the closest to replicating that Apple dynamic, because you can go into any smartphone shop, any Pakistani shop in the country right now for a brand new Samsung phone that's not on the shelves yet, and you can get a case for that thing. So the ecosystem extends beyond the stuff that the manufacturer tries to sell you, but it's all like those third-party things, like those headphone jacks and those connectors that connect so seamlessly to it, and like cases and mounts and like things in your car that hold your phone that only work with certain things, or the moment lenses, those expandable lenses. If there's a case for that, then you know when the third-party manufacturers are starting to support a product, that product is going nowhere. But LG offer all of the same hallmarks of the Galaxy S10 in the 5,000 Rand cheaper G8s ThinQ, who's the star of this actual video. Yes, it only has a 1080p screen, but that 1080p OLED will pull that same true tone click that Apple does, where it matches the white balance to your environment. Yes, there's no ultrasonic under-glass fingerprint sensor, but there's a full secure 3D face unlock that won't just open up when someone puts a picture of you up to the phone. It also has 3 cameras, one of which inherits the sensor from the V40, so it's the same size sensor as in the Samsung. Then you have the ultra-wide, which is wider than the Samsung at 137 degrees, which is the widest you get on the smartphone right now, and a 2x telephoto lens, but it's not that good quality because they had to cut some corners. That display is also HDR10 capable certified. It has water resistance, dust resistance, and even military spec 810G certification, so that when you send your phone in for a warranty repair, the repairer can't tell you that because you have scuffs on your frame that it voids your warranty. I'm looking at you, Samsung, and WeFix. But is it a full-bore G series flagship? No, not even close. The audio performance of the G7 ThinQ, which was released last year, is better in every conceivable way, even though the G7 doesn't have stereo speakers. It has the boombox speaker, and it has a quad DAC. So if you care about the quality of music, if you care about your ears, if you care about music in any way and you like playing it loud, the G7 is actually the one you want. And you can actually pick it up for like 7 grand on Takealot right now, which is a really, really good deal. G8 has none of that. It has the single DAC from Qualcomm. It has stereo speakers, yes, true stereo speakers, but it doesn't get as loud as the G7 does. So you can't use it as like a standalone sort of room-filling speaker. But outside of that, I've told you already, it gains the bigger sensor from the V40. So the camera is slightly better, although the lens isn't as wide or as sharp. But if you want all the specs, you can just watch my last video that I did about this phone. It's also got the current Boabas Snapdragon 855 processor, and this phone, the G8s ThinQ, is the cheapest way you are going to get access to that sort of power, and it retains a headphone jack. It's a lesser one than a proper G series flagship, but it's still a very important thing, especially if you're a content creator like me, where I'm making this video on the G8s ThinQ and I'm filming it with an external mic that plugs into that headphone jack. And on the topic of filming or creating content from your mobile phone device, that's really what sets LG devices apart. Because right in the actual camera app, you get full manual camera and video controls. So you can dial in whatever look you want. You can play with the ISO, you can play with the exposure, focus, alles on video and on stills right in the camera app. So I don't have to buy a fancy standalone camera that's going to give me similar quality. I don't have to invest in a third-party app that's not integrated into the system and maybe doesn't cater to all three of the lenses. And that manual control even extends to audio because I can adjust the levels of this microphone through that very same app. It's those differentiating features that make this a really compelling device. Where Samsung has Samsung DeX and it has Samsung Pay, LG has those content creation tools that I so much need. I don't need Samsung DeX that much when iPadOS finally gets released as a stable version because the betas are a little buggy right now. My iPad is in full mobile computing mode. I don't need DeX anymore. Then it's only Samsung Pay, which just means that I need to carry my wallet with me wherever I go. So it's just a little bit of inconvenience. But to gain all of these video and photo making tools, that's a no-brainer for me. And that's what you want. You want a device that covers all the basics, which LG has, by offering the headphone jack, by upping their photo game. So the auto mode on this LG is a lot better than it used to be. And in low light, it also performs a lot better. And it has all those lifestyle features like the water resistance, and it has a beautiful screen, and it has good speakers, not the best, and it has the face unlock, and it has good battery life, and it has a current powerful chipset and enough RAM to cope with anything, and it's going to give you at least 3 years of good service. That's what I'm talking about. If you're looking at well-rounded devices, you're looking at something that covers the basics. Then you're adding in all the things that speak to you personally. So what does Huawei bring for the same price? You're going to be buying a P30 Lite or a P30 at a cut price, but you're not getting those top-tier high-end spec performance. Samsung, you're getting a Galaxy A70, where you're compromising on the actual raw power of the device. For 11,500 Rand, this is the cheapest way you're going to get that Snapdragon 855 horsepower, which will still be relevant deep into next year. And you're getting a well-rounded device with headroom for growth for content creators. Don't you deserve that? Is that not what people should be telling you should be buying? LG doesn't do well with the YouTube algorithm. That's why you don't see a lot of content about this. But if you measure an LG against every other phone, it more than competes. And it then comes down to that extra 5% on top that you really need. And I think you deserve the best. And that's why the G8s ThinQ is my current default recommendation for anyone who's wanting a powerful smartphone in 2019. But that's just my opinion. And I'm Lindsay, and this has been another Hammer Rose production. Please like, share, subscribe if you like what I'm doing. If you don't like what I'm doing, please tell me down in the comments, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.